Welcome back to Listen and Learn English. I'm Liam and I'm joined by Sophia. Today we have a very special episode for our A2 and B1 learners. If you're looking to improve your listening and speaking skills naturally, you're in the right place.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited about today's topic. We are diving into something that sounds simple, but can be a bit tricky. The difference between how many and how much. Plus, we'll explore all the other cool ways you can use how to ask questions.
That's right, Sophia. I think many learners get confused because in some languages, there's only one word for both. But in English, we have to think about whether we can count the things we are talking about.
Exactly. It's the classic battle, countable versus uncountable. Liam, let's start with the basics. If I'm looking at your desk right now, I see some things I can count one by one.
Like my pens. I have 1, 2, 3 pens. So you would ask, Liam, how many pens do you have?
Precisely. We use how many for countable nouns. Think of things like apples, chairs, friends, or days. You can put an S at the end of them. Liam, how many coffee cups are on your desk?
Just one today, Sophia, but usually there are 3 or 4. Now, what about the coffee inside the cup? I can't say 1 coffee, 2 coffees when I'm talking about the liquid itself.
Right. For things we can't count, like liquids, grains, or abstract ideas, we use how much. So I would ask, how much coffee do you drink every morning?
Too much, probably. But notice, listeners, I didn't say how many coffee. I said how much. This applies to water, sugar, money, and even time.
Wait, Liam, let's stop there. Money and time are interesting. We can count dollars and we can count hours. So why do we use how much?
Great question. While we count the units, dollars per hours, the concepts of money and time are uncountable in English. You ask, how much money do you have? But how many dollars do you have?
Or how much time do we have? Versus how many minutes are left?
Exactly. It's a subtle difference, but once you hear it, it becomes natural. Let's try a little role play for our listeners. Let's pretend we are at the grocery store. I'll be the shopper, and you help me check the list.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Okay, Sophia, I have the shopping cart. What do we need first?
We need eggs. Check the carton. How many eggs are left?
Let me see. There are only 2 eggs. We definitely need more. How many should I buy? A dozen?
Yes, get 12. Now, check the flour. How much flour is in the pantry?
There is very little. Maybe just 1 cup. We should buy a new bag.
Good idea. And how much milk do we have?
We have 2 full cartons. We don't need any more milk. But wait, how many apples did you say we needed for the pie?
The recipe says 6 apples. Oh, and grab some salt.
How much salt? A big container or a small one?
Just a small one. We don't use much salt in our cooking.
See, in that conversation, we switched back and forth. Eggs and apples are how many. Flour, milk, and salt are how much.
Now, Liam, let's make it a bit more difficult. How isn't just for quantity. It's like a Swiss Army knife. It has so many uses.
I love that comparison. Let's look at how plus adjective. This is how we ask about specific qualities. For example, if I'm planning a trip to visit you, I might ask, how far is your house from the station?
And I would say, it's not far, only a 10-minute walk. Or if you're worried about the weather, you could ask, how cold is it in London right now?
Probably very cold. Let's list some of the most common ones for our listeners. How old? How often? How long? How tall? How fast?
How often is a big one for learners. Liam, how often do you go to the gym?
Honestly, not how often I should. Maybe twice a week. What about you, Sophia? How long does it take you to get ready in the morning?
Oh, that's a dangerous question. It takes me about 45 minutes. It depends on how much coffee I've had.
Haha, fair enough. Now, let's try a more interactive challenge. I'm going to describe a situation, and Sophia, you have to ask me a how question using the correct form. Then, listeners, try to guess the question before Sophia says it.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Situation 1. I'm telling you about my new car. I'm talking about the speed.
How fast does it go?
Correct. Situation 2. I'm talking about my best friend who I've known since I was a child.
How long have you known him?
Spot on. Situation 3. I'm at a restaurant and I'm looking at the dessert menu. I'm worried about the price.
How much does the chocolate cake cost?
Exactly. Remember, for price, we always use how much, even if it's a single item. We don't say, how many is the cake?
That's a very common mistake. Even if you're buying one shirt, you ask, how much is this? Because you are asking about the value of the money.
Let's talk about how for process. Sometimes we just use how by itself with a verb to ask about the way something is done. How do you make that cake? Or how did you learn English so well?
That's more of an open-ended question. It requires a longer answer. Liam, how do you stay so motivated to record these podcasts every week?
Well, I think about our listeners. When I see how many people are commenting and how much progress they are making, it makes me very happy.
That's so sweet. And it's true. We see people from all over the world. Liam, how many countries do you think our listeners come from?
Oh, it must be dozens, maybe even over 100.
It's incredible. Now, let's move to some more advanced how questions. Sometimes we use how to ask for an opinion, like, how was the movie? Or, how do you like your new job?
Those are great for starting conversations. If you meet someone new, you can ask, how are you finding the weather here? Or, how was your weekend? It's much more natural than just saying, what did you do?
I agree. How was your weekend sounds much more friendly. Liam, let's do one more deep dive conversation. Let's pretend we are planning a big party for the Listen and Learn English anniversary. We need to use as many how questions as possible.
Okay, I have my notebook ready. Sophia, how many guests should we invite?
I think we should invite 50 people. How much space do we have in the garden?
The garden is quite big, but I'm not sure how many chairs we can fit. I'll have to measure it. How long do you want the party to last?
Maybe from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m.? 5 hours sounds good. How much food do we need for 50 people?
A lot. How many pizzas should we order?
Let's order 15 large pizzas. And how many bottles of water?
Maybe 30 bottles? And we need to think about music. How often should we have a live band play? Or should we just use a playlist?
A playlist is easier. How fast can we set up the speakers?
It won't take long. But Sophia, how much is the total budget for this party? I hope it's not too expensive.
Don't worry, Liam. I've calculated everything. How do you feel about wearing a party hat?
How tall is the hat? If it's too big, it might fall off while I'm dancing.
It's a standard size, I promise.
All right, listeners, did you hear all those? We had how many, guests, chairs, pizzas, bottles, hats. How much, space, food, money/budget. How long, duration of the party. How often, frequency of music. How fast, speed of setup. How, feeling/opinion.
That was a lot of how. It really shows that if you master this one word, you can ask almost anything in English.
It's all about practice. At first, you might have to stop and think, wait, is water countable? No. Okay, how much water? But after a while, your brain just does it automatically.
A good tip for our A2 and B1 learners is to learn chunks. Don't just learn how many. Learn the whole phrase, like how many people or how much time. This makes speaking much faster.
That's a great tip. Instead of building the sentence like a Lego set every time, you have the whole piece ready to go.
Well, Liam, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. We went from simple eggs and flour to planning a whole anniversary party.
We certainly did. I hope our listeners feel more confident now. Just remember, if you can count it on your fingers, use many. If you can't, use much. And don't forget all the other how friends like how long and how often.
And if you're ever unsure, Just listen to how native speakers ask. You'll hear these phrases everywhere, in movies, songs, and daily chats.
That brings us to the end of today's episode. We hope you found these phrases and stories helpful. If you enjoyed this, please give this video a like and share it with a friend who is also learning English.
To make sure you never miss an episode and to keep your learning journey consistent, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next one. Happy learning!